Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ever been in a situation where you are 1 meter short of an Ethernet cable, or you were very specific of a custom length which no store seems to sell? They always sell you a 5 meter or 10 meter one, right? Well, forget that. I actually made this custom spool 3D printed holder just for this massive 50 meter Cat6 cable I picked up. Why? Because I recently realized snagging a long spool of high quality cable and crimping it to any length is vastly superior in both quantity and quality with cost compared to getting scammed by those marked up high prices. Today we are going to crimp a cable. It's super simple. We are skipping an external sleeve. It really doesn't matter if you just plug it and forget about it, which is the whole point of home run cables. By the end of this video, you'll be able to make one of these custom cables yourself. So let's get to it. What you will need? A crimping tool, the absolute star of the show. It usually comes with instructions, cuts the cable, strips the jacket, and crimps the connector all in one satisfying squeeze. Inside the box, you'll also find a mini wire stripper, which is super handy as it comes with the same length as a Cat5 or Cat6 cable. My recommendation is also to have an additional cutter, not a scissor, not a wire stripper, for the main cut. The cutter's sharp and clean. You will easily find white matters soon. Next up is the RJ45 connectors. These are clear plastic plugs that goes to the ends of the wire. Make sure you have the right ones. They come in solid core and the standard core. Some of them are pass through, some of them are not. Both of them are easy to work with. People put in way too much effort into overthinking on straightening the cables and cutting way too long to pass it through the connectors. I have small tips on getting it just right. Optional bonus, cable tester. Nice to have if you are making a bunch of them, but this is just for a home lab. It's not worth the extra cash. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start crimping. There are two wiring standards which you can follow. The T568B, the most common one, or the T568A, the old standard. Only the orange and green pair are swapped between the two standards. The blue and the brown pair remains in the same pin position. There is no difference in network performance or speed performance between the properly terminated T568A or a T568B cable. Depending on your patience level or lack thereof, use the mini wire stripper. It's got step marked on the RJ45, which makes it almost foolproof. Me, I'm just impatient. So I'm going straight for the step 2 and cutting the sleeve off. Now some people strip way too much cable and flatten it like they're ironing a shirt, which sometimes can be very unnecessary. This will most likely be the apt size you should cut. More on why you should cut much later. You'll see it soon. Inside the wire, there is a small plastic cross separator. That's for keeping the pairs of the wires from interfering one another. Cut it off as close to the girth as possible without nicking the wires. This step is crucial because when you pinch the wires tightly between your fingers and line up the wires, the plastic core always gets in the way. If your wire end up uneven, they probably did. Use the cutter to even them out. Here in my case, I'm using the cutter to trim off the excess wire and have them roughly the same length. Doesn't have to be exact, 1 mm here or there is still fine. You could just use a wire stripper, but honestly, it just makes your life harder. A cutter is faster, cleaner and way more comfortable. Arranging the wires. Now the fun part starts. Arranging the wire in the T568B format or order. I'll put the pattern on the screen for you to have a watch. Here's a quick heads up. The white orange and the white green are usually a lighter shade of orange and green. Don't panic if you look palettes like this. They're supposed to be that way. The blue pair is the real troublesome maker here. It insists on going in between the greens, which is annoying the first time, but you'll get used to it. Don't hate blue, guys. It's just doing its job. Once you got the order right, trim the ends again to have all the 8 wires roughly equal lengths. This is the last chance for you to double check the order. No pressure, but here is where you either make a perfect cable or a future headache. The wire length here in my case is a bit longer than it is expected. Hence, I'll be cutting off the excess wire. Once you have worked out, you just have to guide all the 8 wires into the RJ45 connectors. It's not hard. You don't have to overthink about it also. It just goes, have the wires pinched tightly between your fingers. It's very important to have a portion of the sleeve of the wire inside the plastic connector, which actually holds all the wire in place. It's a good thing to check in front. You should see the very ends of all 8 wires pressed up against the clear plastic, touching the metal connector. At times it becomes hard to see the wire through the transparent plastic. You just have to wiggle it a bit and move it, which makes the view clear of the wires. Alright, it's time to lock in. Place the connector firmly into the RJ45 with a portion of the sleeve within the plastic. Now you can look through the documentation mentioned in your RJ45 crimping tool to understand how to place the connector to crimp. Take a deep breath, squeeze the handle together hard. You will hear a satisfying crunch. That's the metal pin being pushed into the wires, making the electrical connections. That crunch sound, that is success. That's the sound of data being born. Remember T568B on both the sides for standard straight through cable. That's it. You have just made your own Ethernet cable. Give yourself a pat on your back, plug it in and run a speed test. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great day ahead.